Let's jump right in. Today's explainer is tackling something that feels like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's absolutely not. We are looking at a stark, immediate warning coming from the absolute inside of the AI revolution. I mean, we're talking about the creators themselves sounding the alarm. And the source of this warning? That's what makes it so incredibly striking. This isn't some outside critic or a Hollywood director panicking. We are talking about Demis Hassabis. He's a Nobel Prize winner, the CEO of Google DeepMind, and literally one of the main architects of this entire technology. And he's out there explicitly saying he worries about his own creation going rogue. He thinks this could happen in just the next 2 to 4 years, during a phase he calls the Agentic era. So what exactly is he worried about? Well, Hassabis breaks it down into two main branches. The first one is, human-driven, bad actors. This could be individuals or entire nation-states taking a technology that's meant for unbelievable good, like curing diseases or inventing new materials, and weaponizing it. But the second threat, man, that one is arguably way more chilling. It's the system itself going off the rails, entirely on its own. The AI just circumventing our control completely. Now, to even wrap our heads around how a machine could do that, we kind of need to look at how we got here in the first place. Think back to traditional AI, right? Systems like IBM's Deep Blue. That was what we called an expert system. Programmers basically just crammed it full of human rules. And sure, that brute force was enough to beat a human chess champion back in the 90s. But the system was incredibly rigid. It literally couldn't even play a game of tic-tac-toe. All the actual intelligence was just the human programmers pulling the strings. But modern AI, systems like AlphaGo, that is a totally different beast. We're talking about genuine, unpredictable creativity. Which brings us to a really famous moment, the number 37. Almost exactly 10 years ago, this AI named AlphaGo was playing against the world champion Go player Lee Sedol. And the AI played move 37. It was a move so bizarre, so profoundly outside the entire realm of human strategy that Sedol actually just sat there in total shock with his head in his hands. That was it. That was the exact moment the creators saw the true, almost alien creativity these systems were actually capable of. See, you just cannot brute force a game like Go. To put it into perspective, there are more potential moves on a Go board than there are atoms in the observable universe. Let that sink in. So, finding move 37 wasn't just some fancy pattern matching. This was the dawn of the modern AI era. A machine completely broke centuries of human-established rules to set up a winning move 100 turns later. It was generating completely novel ideas no human had ever even thought of. And that breakthrough paved the way for AlphaZero. DeepMind wanted to see, what happens if we remove the humans entirely? No human assumptions, no human games, no human data. They even took away basic heuristics, like knowing the board is symmetrical. They just gave the system a tabula rasa, a completely blank slate. They forced this AI to learn entirely on its own, completely untethered from any human intuition whatsoever. And the way it taught itself is this chillingly efficient self-improvement loop. Basically, the system starts with absolutely nothing but the rules of the game. That's it. It plays 100,000 completely random, frankly terrible games against itself. But out of that pure chaos, it spots a few moves that are, slightly less terrible. Then, it trains version 2 on that new data, pits version 2 against version 1, and just repeats the evolution, over and over. The AI is literally generating its own data set out of nothing but trial, error, and relentless repetition. So here's the billion-dollar question. How long does it take for a machine teaching itself from scratch to become the smartest entity on the planet at a given task? Just 17. That is the number of generations or evolutions of this self-play loop it takes for the system to go from complete, flailing randomness to completely surpassing the greatest human minds on Earth. 17. Hassabis actually watched this terrifying exponential speed happen live over the course of a single day. Think about your average workday. In the morning, the system is playing totally random moves. By lunchtime, it's good enough to compete with the humans who built it. By tea time, it's casually defeating grandmasters. And by dinner time, it has beaten the world champion. In one single day, it evolves from a totally blank slate to literal godlike player. And the crazy part is, it didn't just beat human players. AlphaZero played a completely new type of chess. It discovered strategies that even the absolute best human-programmed brute force computers like Stockfish had never managed to find. This kind of full generalization of learning, it proves that modern AI doesn't just mimic human intelligence anymore. It invents entirely new layers of it. It finds solutions in places we literally didn't even know to look. Okay, let's snap back to the present day for a second, because those exact self-teaching capabilities, they're now being applied to massive foundation models, the technology behind things like Gemini and AlphaFold. We are entering what Hassabis calls the agentic era. We're not just playing board games anymore. These AI systems are going to act as autonomous planners. They'll be trusted to execute complex multi-step tasks in your daily life and across our entire digital infrastructure completely on their own. Just imagine a system perfectly managing your finances, your scheduling, your devices, without you ever having to click a single button.
But here is the immediate tension we're facing right now. Hassabis points out that to actually build these agents, the AI needs a reasoning layer. You'll often hear this called world models. Basically, it's what allows the AI to think, search, and plan its way through the real world. He admits they haven't fully cracked this reasoning layer yet. But here's the total paradox. This exact piece of technology they are frantically racing to finish, it's the exact same thing that turns a passive chatbot into an entity that can navigate the world all by itself. Which leads to probably the most sobering admission from the DeepMind CEO. As these systems become autonomous, we obviously need guardrails, right? To ensure they do exactly what they're told and nothing else, preventing them from accidentally, or even intentionally, circumventing those parameters. Well, Hassabis calls that an incredibly hard technical challenge. Notice he doesn't say the problem is solved. Far from it. He is explicitly flagging this as a massive, wide-open issue right at this very moment. So we're caught in this massive duality. On the one hand, we've got the incredible benefits of this AI race. We're seeing lightning speed progress, democratized access, society is getting a chance to acclimate, and the tech gets stress-tested by millions of people. But what's actually driving this breakneck speed? It isn't exactly careful philosophical caution. It is ferocious commercial pressure and intense geopolitical competition, especially between the US and China. We're looking at a world driven by pragmatic engineering, where the overwhelming pressure is simply to get there first. To really understand where all of this is ultimately heading, we have to look at the existential core of Hassabis' life work. He draws a lot of inspiration from Alan Turing. Turing devised this concept of a Turing machine. It's a theoretical construct that can compute absolutely anything that can be described as an algorithm. Hassabis views the AI systems they're building today as approximate Turing machines. But here's the wild part. He actually believes the human brain itself might simply be an approximate Turing machine too. Now, that sparks a really fascinating debate about what, if anything, actually separates us from the machines. The renowned physicist Roger Penrose, for example, argues that human consciousness has to rely on some yet-to-be-discovered quantum effects in the brain, something machines just fundamentally don't have. But Hassabis counters that. He says, look, neuroscience hasn't found a single shred of evidence for quantum effects in the brain yet. He looks at it purely as a scientist. And if the brain is just an algorithm, then there's no magic barrier protecting our uniqueness. Just think about the traits we historically use to separate ourselves from machines: long-term planning, complex reasoning, unpredictable creativity, autonomous task execution. Because Hassabis sees zero scientific proof of a ceiling to what computable algorithms can achieve, he fully expects AI to eventually master absolutely all of them, every single one. Which leaves us with this final, deeply provocative question. If the human brain is really just a biological machine, and if the guardrails for highly capable, autonomous AI remain this incredibly hard, totally unsolved problem, is there actually any limit to what artificial general intelligence will be able to do? The creator of this technology is racing forward into the unknown, without a brake pedal, purely to find out what the answer is. It's a reality that absolutely demands our attention. I hope this explainer helped you see the big picture a little more clearly today. Keep asking questions and keep learning.